My dumpling video is one of my most popular on YouTube, and my Australian viewers said I had to try this golden syrup recipe. Let me show you how to make them. I like to use a shallow pan with a lid, and the lid is very important because it steams the dumplings. But the shallow pan means it's easier to scoop them out, and you get more dumplings on the bottom of your pan. So we're going in with 225 milliliters, just less than 1 cup of water, 50 grams, 3.5 tablespoons of butter, 112 grams, just over half a cup of brown sugar. I'm using dark brown sugar because it really adds that richness to the flavor.
And 112 grams, 4.5 tablespoons of golden syrup.
Truly liquid gold. We're going to set that to medium-high heat and let it start to come up to a simmer. If you can't find golden syrup, I've linked my homemade golden syrup recipe down below. But you could also swap out honey or corn syrup or even maple syrup. The flavor will differ slightly, but they're still delicious. Let the mixture come up to a boil and then immediately turn it down to simmering while we make our dumplings. I like to give it a little stir to make sure all of the sugar has been dissolved. To 2 cups or 240 grams of flour, we're going in with 12 grams, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon, 4 grams of salt. And I'm just going to mix that together to get those combined. If you have access to self-raising flour, you could use that instead, remove the baking powder and half the salt. But I'm using plain flour because it's more accessible to everybody. Then I'm adding in 3.5 tablespoons or 50 grams of butter. And I'm just going to start working these together with my fingers. You could just put this in the food processor and let that do the work for you. But there's something really satisfying about making this by hand. It should look like wet sand once it's done. If you squeeze it together with your hands, it should hold loosely and then just crumble apart with your fingers. To the flour mixture, add 200 milliliters, just over 3/4 of a cup of whole milk,
and 1 tablespoon, 25 grams of golden syrup.
And start mixing it together. I like to use a fork. It will feel like a loose mixture, but that's what we want to keep our dumplings light and fluffy. And that's it. You don't want to overmix this. Bring your mixture back up to the boil, and then we're going to gently add in scoops of our dumpling mix. I'm using a cookie scoop, but you can use a dessert spoon as well. And this makes about a 2 tablespoon portion. Depending on the size of your pan, you may need to do 2 rounds of this. Turn the heat back down to medium so that it comes back down to a simmer, and then gently just give your dumplings a little flip. They're very, very delicate, so you want to be gentle with them. This makes sure every side is coated in that delicious sauce. You can see they're already puffing up. And if there's any spots that look a little dry, just put some of the syrup on top. Then pop your lid on and let these steam on medium-low heat for 10 minutes. I'm cooking these in a pan on my stove, but you could also make the syrup, pop the dumplings in, and shove it in the oven. If you do this, you'll need to bake them at 175 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 to 25 minutes, or until they've really puffed up and absorbed a lot of the syrup. At the 5-minute mark, give them a little look and see if they need to be flipped again. You don't want them to stick to the bottom of the pan. You can see here they've puffed up, but we want all of these bits covered in our syrup, so we're going to go back in and give them another flip. Again, super gently. You want these to be really firm or fairly firm when you're eating them. So if the 10 minutes isn't enough, just add another 5 minutes to the steaming time. This is also a great time to make sure they're not sticking to the bottom. And I do find on my stove especially, the middle ones really cook faster. And then just pop your lid back on for another 5 or so minutes.
Then it's time to serve, and make sure to drizzle on plenty of that delicious sauce.
That is so good. It's like a warm hug on a cold day. And it goes beautifully with ice cream or custard or cream. If you haven't watched my viral savory dumpling recipe, you can find it here. Thank you so much for watching, and if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button. I'll see you next week.